not to be believed. In the period of time that we filmed the movie, all three of the movies, which we filmed concurrently, others could start and complete a master's program. Over the course of time that we promoted the films and traveled back and forth to New Zealand, that person could have finished their dissertation and gotten a PhD. The thought occurred to me a lot. Sitting around eating lemon bread, wondering, why didn't I just get a PhD instead of doing this? The physical experience of moving to a new country and dedicating ourselves fully and completely to a single task was exhilarating and more exhausting than could truly have been imagined. The experience of working in close quarters with some of the most gifted artists and artisans and craftspeople in the world was enlightening and inspiring and intimidating and fulfilling all at the same time. Plumbing the very depths of my soul to discover layers of joy and pain that I didn't know existed was ennobling and embarrassing and triumphant. The tedium of the process was many times grating and unbearable, but the landscape was the most jaw-dropping salvation every time you remembered to open your eyes and breathe deeply the freshest air on this green earth. The satisfaction derived from viewing the priceless and brilliant result of all of our efforts was something approaching the sensation of immortality. All said, what was it like to make The Lord of the Rings? It was, pretty good. The people we met. I sat and visited with Sir Edmund Hillary, the first or second, depending on what you guess may be the story between him and Tenzing Norgay, but the first man to scale the daunting heights of Everest. Peter Jackson actually sent a runner to the bookstore to purchase a copy of Hillary's book, A View from the Summit, for me to give, to get a signature. So I gave it to that giant man, the adventurer and humanitarian. Sir Edmund signed my book, and a $5 bill, the New Zealand $5 bill, has his picture on it. And I asked him, so how was it? How was what? The view from the summit. He thought for a moment and said, it's pretty good. We met a great many giants and legends because we are part of Lord of the Rings. Statesmen and women, rock stars, philanthropists, captains of industry, and fans. Well, the fans, the so many fans. A lot of fans. If there are any fans here tonight, thank you very much for coming. The other massive impact that The Lord of the Rings has had on my life, which I alluded to a little bit ago, was the publicity machine and the way in which we were all thrust into the international pop cultural maelstrom. Oprah, Larry King, NPR, and felt like every single solitary publication, news or radio outlet, and on, was eager to be a part of the Lord of the Rings phenomenon. This was, in a word, overwhelming. It was, to say in the most practical sense, life-altering. Where we chose to live, how I carried on my day-to-day life, the nature of traveling, all became adjusted. I loved that people would always compliment me and say, you're so grounded. How do you stay so grounded? Because it just kind of reminded me of an ideal that might be worth trying to preserve. I'm so grateful for my wife and our children. I'm married 18 years now. My wife is Christine, and we have 3 daughters, Alexandra, Elizabeth, and Isabella. Allie's actually in the end of the 3rd movie of Lord of the Rings, and she was 3 when we filmed that scene, and she's going to be 13 next week. Wow. They, my family, are normalcy. They are unconditional love. They tolerate no BS. Well, I think my wife would say they tolerate an awful lot of BS. Not what I mean, you know what I mean. They have large mirrors and are only too eager to point out a big belly or worse. They are like a little humility elixir that I sip frequently. So there. I think that is a pretty good account of what it was like for me making Lord of the Rings. And yes, the big hairy feet were sticky. And it was a real volcano we filmed on. And Orlando was really that cute. And the New Zealand Army really did play orcs like that. Now we're supposed to look at 3 of my films and pull out just some lessons learned. So, from The Goonies,